Hello, my darlings. Welcome back to Marion K Tarot. I hope you're well. Please excuse some of the chaos that I've just noticed is going on behind me, and I have not cleared it. I'm sorry. I'm in the thick of it right now. Doing final preparations for the big, massive MBS show in London that I will be going to this week. So this week's reading, I am directly after recording this, I'm going to be doing the following weeks because I will still be in London, and I won't be able to record, so forgive me for that. I'll just have to stretch my intuition up to that following week. So I had to pull two different decks from the jar, from the to be read jar, and the first one I picked for this week, which I'm so excited about, is the B Tarot by the wonderful, my fabulous friend, Mr. Christopher Hughes. If you know him, you know him. If you don't, please go and check out his work. He was a presenter at the Oracle's Rebellion, and he had the place in an uproar, which is exactly what we were looking for. He is wonderful. He's one of the kindest, most amazing human beings I've ever had the privilege to interact with. So we've got the B Tarot for this week, and this week we are covering the 18th to the 24th of May. So, what's happening this week? Well, it's my birthday on Monday. You'd think, like, now I'm in my 40s, I wouldn't want to, like, announce that, but it's a Taurus thing, right? I love my birthday. I enjoy it. So that's Monday. I'm going for afternoon tea with a very dear friend who is over visiting from Australia, and I've not seen her for a couple of years, so I'm very, very excited to meet up with her. We're going somewhere very posh for afternoon tea. So that's what I'm doing, and then I'm just hightailing it down to London, and then all hell's going to break loose, and it's going to be wonderful. I keep telling myself that, and it's not going to be overwhelming in the slightest. Right, so this week, astrologically, what have we got going on? We have got the sun shifting signs from Taurus to Gemini, to the wild, crazy, hyperactive energy of Gemini. So that happens in the 21st. So Wednesday, Thursday, depending on your time zone. So I always think that you can feel the shift, because we're moving, like in the Minor Arcana, we're moving for the Seven of Pentacles into the Eight of Swords. So you can feel that kind of dramatic shift. So that's a big news. There's other things going on. Forgive me, I am really falling out of the loop right now, just with everything that's going on with tracking the astrology as intensely as what I usually do. There is a story behind that, and I'm debating whether or not to make a video about it. I don't really know if I should make a video about it, but we'll see. So that's what we've got going on. I hope you're having a slightly easier week than that. I just want to shout out to a very special Gemini who I know watches these videos, Bonnie. Thank you so much. I have got this beautiful amethyst pendant on that Bonnie gifted me during the Oracle's Rebellion, and what she did was it really like kind of made me fill up. She presented me with a wee goodie bag of my own, and it was the sweetest, kindest thing. So Bonnie, I know you watch these videos, so thank you. I absolutely adore it, and I adore all the wee goodies that you popped inside. It was so thoughtful, so thank you. Right, so let's get stuck into these cards, shall we? What have we got coming up the 18th to the 24th of May? Now I'll be interested to know, because as I say, I've got a big week. Oof. What have we got coming up? Right, let's see. My. Yes, we do have a big week. really do have a big week coming up. Wow. Right, so first things first. The card at the bottom of the deck is called the Malaise, I think it is, but it's for me and you, it's a High Priestess, right? So whenever the High Priestess shows up, okay, and it's a card that doesn't usually show up very often for me, to be perfectly honest. This week is very much grounded in our intuition. That's the words that are coming through to me. Even if it doesn't make sense, you know, like on paper something looks amazing, but you have got like this gut feeling that something just isn't quite right with a situation, whatever that situation is. Trust that is what I would say, you know. And there's actually funny this coming up because I have a friend who is very much in that situation right now, and it's going to carry on into next week. Seeing this and getting that message is just really kind of brought that to the fore for me. But what I would suggest is, you know, like looking at this card, we've got the flowers blooming in this side, but then at this side we've got the flowers starting to wilt. And I think that both parts are important. It's important to acknowledge both, because it's like what we nurture grows. Okay, and instinctively, if we have this intuition to grow something or to tend to something as opposed to something else, then trust that. Again, going back to that, you know, everybody else could be saying, oh, go this way, or do that thing, or, you know, like, that's the best way to go, that's the best thing to do. And I'm reminded, you know, unless somebody is going the same road as you or has been down that path, then have they really got a valid opinion on the matter? That's what I would suggest to you, and that's what's coming up, you know. But that energy is very much, you know, trust your intuition, trust your gut, okay, because it'll serve you well. Now, the card proper for the week ahead. That'll be fine. We have got the Hanged One. We have got Temperance. And we have got Death. Okay. Now, told you it's a big week. And these cards are very well shuffled. What this feels like is having the Hanged One here, right? Now, it's... I know we could say, oh, it's about, you know, looking at things through a different angle and a different perspective. And whilst that's true, I think the main thing here is it's like... So, I won't get too much into detail, right? But for me, what it looks like is this guy this person is hanging upside down, and this is all bees, right? And I have seen like videos, etc. Like, I don't know if they're called bee whisperers, you know, but people who work with bees, and the bees do not sting them, right? They do not see them as a threat. And this is what is coming to mind with this particular card, you know. It's like, but this person's staying still, and if they're staying still, then the bees, the things that might attack you or the things that might sting you, do not see you as a threat. So this week you could be going into a situation where ordinarily you would perceive that people are going to threaten you. No, threaten you with violence, you know, I don't mean that. But ordinarily you would feel threatened by a situation that you're going into this week. And what I would suggest to you is, you know, just do nothing. You know, just be, right? Just let yourself observe, you know, observe your surroundings. don't necessarily assume that there is a threat there, or like, you know, it's kind of a change in not just our perspective on things, but changing the way we think about things as well. You know, how we emotionally feel about something. Where emotions might lie to us a wee bit, dare I say it, you know, because there's a perception. We have a perception of how something's going to go. Very much kind of similar to the High Priestess's energy. You know, it's like these are two cards of water. But what we need to acknowledge is the Hanged One, or Hanged Man, or, you know, the Hanged Person, is a card of Neptune. Okay, so Neptune's in Aries right now, and it's like, is there an illusion of a fight? Is there an illusion of a threat? Or is it becoming a delusion? Okay, so that's what I want you to be aware of this week. You know, you might be doing something where you've made this kind of a idea in your head. Oh well, it's going to be like this. You know, it's going to be full of things like this, and the people are going to be X, Y, and Z. You know, but what I'm saying to you is keep an open mind and keep still. The Temperance idea here, moving on to Temperance, is that alchemy, you know, and it's demonstrated so well here in this card. You know, there's like a kind of a barren desert, and then there's like all this floral lushness, and it's really true. You know, without bees, it's like the entire ecosystem will fall apart. You know, it's like they do such a huge job in nature, in building nature, and, you know, bringing towards that alchemy. So it could be, you know, the things that we have considered in the past were opinions on things, or certain groups of people, or, you know, just life in general. We are being asked this week to acknowledge that there is not necessarily a threat there, that something that we have perceived. I keep saying threat, and I don't mean threat like as in, you know, there's going to be physical harm. It feels to me like there's going to be this greater understanding of different points of view, and even if you don't agree with every point of view, then you can still be open to hearing it, you know, and then taking it on board. You don't have to believe it, you don't have to agree with it, but it's kind of a like, right, so when I see something that I don't agree with, right, when I hear somebody saying something that I do not agree with, then I don't agree with it, right? But do I support that person's right to say that? Yes, I do. Even though I don't agree with it. Because that's what we do in a fair and democratic society. You know, it's like, you don't have to support the person, but you support the right to do something, right? And that works across the board. It can't just be one rule for one and one rule for the other, okay? And just find some common ground as much as possible. So, where are we ending up with this? You know, we're ending up with the Death card, and I think that it's this delightful energy showing up, because it's like we have brought together this alchemy within the Temperance card. You know, it starts off with this interesting energy here, and we're not quite sure what to do with it. So then Temperance comes along and says, right, do you know what? We're going to mix it together, and we're going to create something new. We're going to take maybe something that you know, something that you don't know, and we're going to alchemize it, and we're going to make something new. And then what happens is, there is the end of one thing, and there is the beginning of another thing with the Death card. It is producing something that we were not aware of, a new direction perhaps, you know, but we have to admit that transition. You know, first of all, we have to admit that ending is taking place. So all in all, a really interesting week ahead, and also, you know, this is the first time that the Sun is going to be meeting Uranus and Gemini, since 1941. So, you know, so there will be some interesting energy. And can I just say, every Taurus who watches this, yay for us finally, after 8 years, having a birthday season without Uranus. And we're saying, it's joyful. But you know, like Gemini's, when I say that, you know, don't worry about Uranus. Uranus is much more comfortable in your sign, and it'll just be a totally new energy. So yes, my loves, so that is you. Have a wonderful week. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the last few days of Taurus season. Go and eat some cake, because it's mandatory during Taurus season that we do nice things for ourselves. We take care of ourselves. And I will see you later. Bye bye.